No one would believe that Hillary Clinton ate my asshole.
Welcome back for another episode of 3 Games, where I show my loyal fans, all 2 of them, 3 games I have played recently. Get your seatbelts on. This is ClickBit. At first glance, this looks like your run-of-the-mill cookie clicker style game. It isn't. This isn't a game. This is a torture device. In the future, playing ClickBit to the end might be on a list with waterboarding or sleep deprivation. No, that's too much. Those won't kill you. But more about that later. Let's start with the basics. As much as it looks like other clicker games, this one has one major flaw. It does not fit in the category of idle games. In an idle game, you would progress while doing pretty much nothing. You tend to even use upgrades to let the auto-clicker ability click faster. Not in this one. Every single fucking click has to come from you. Every single one. While it does not look like much at first, by tier 3 it takes ages to even get a single update. I think I already pressed one button for thousands of times by this point, and it seems to be getting worse and worse. So I did what many of you might think at this time. I get an auto-clicker or some shit and then I let it press the button. I did. Guess what? The game has a heat mechanic that stops you from clicking too fast. And every update you buy for the heater does not increase the amount of clicks you can do per second before the heat starts rising. No, really, I tested it. The sweet spot is 6 clicks per second. Everything else raises your heat and you have to stop for a while to cool it down. So, alright, I'm at tier 3. I have the full multiplier for tier 2, which grants me 128 byte per click. You want to buy the first multiplier of the third tier, which is 2 MB. 2 MB are 2 million byte, and with 128 byte per click, that's 15,625 clicks just to get one fucking upgrade. You have to do that yourself. I repeat, you personally have to do every single fucking click. Even with an auto-clicker installed, at 6 clicks a second, that's 2,604 seconds or 43 minutes until you can buy that upgrade. And it gets worse and worse every tier. How much worse? Let's say you have all upgrades from tier 7 and want to get the update to get to tier 8. What's needed there is 16 zetabit. Until then you would have upgraded 35 times. Given that it always doubles the value per click when buying the update, you are at roughly 34 billion bit, or roughly 4.3 gigabyte. So how many clicks do you need to get to a zetabit? Well, a zetabit is 10 to the power of 21 bit. So you would have to click 29,103,830,457 times. You want to know how long that would take with 6 clicks a second? 153.8 years. And that's for 1 zetabit. You need 16. You could not finish this game in your lifetime, even if you wanted. Okay, admittedly, there might be updates that might ease that a bit, but after 3 hours mindlessly clicking on, I don't care anymore. But do you think I was exaggerating when I called this game a torture device and how it would kill you to fully play it? Of course you could not finish the game in your lifetime. Your great-great-great-grandchildren might finish your legacy, but why would you hate them so much? Because this isn't fun. The background graphics doesn't change. It is an entirely pointless, unfun game. Everything is the same every tier, and you have to click everything yourself. There is this popularity thing where you choose a certain kind of programmer you want to be, but by level 7 I can say, this of course leads to absolutely nothing. I could buy additional popularity and nothing else. If this is doing something, it's certainly not well explained. It just seems like another bar you can fill for absolutely nothing. Honestly, I have played terrible games. Really, really terrible games. But if anyone is asking me what I would consider the worst game I have ever played on Steam, for now, I had to go with ClickBit. I have never seen a game that felt like it was purely designed to be not fun. And still there are people in the reviews defending it because to them clicking 100,000 of times is fun. I give up. So after this nonsense, I have to balance it out with something more positive. Here's one of the best games in recent memory, introducing Ahead in Time. Here is a bit of trivia about me. I grew up in the era of 16-bit gaming, so my nostalgia jam was the Sega Mega Drive. By the time the 3D era began, I was already on the PC, so I never really played those 3D jump and run platforming collectathon type of games, like Banjo and Kazooie or Super Mario 64, or any of that stuff. I played Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 and Psychonauts, but that was much later. So this genre specifically does not hold any nostalgic value whatsoever. Having said that, holy shit, this game is fantastic. Basically, uselessly jumping around is the thing I do most in games, no matter what I'm playing, which I guess comes from my Quake days, but they made a game out of it. Okay, I know they did that back in the Nintendo 64 era, but are those on PC? No. So for all intents and purposes, they do not exist for me. What? Crash Bandicoot is on Steam. Oh, shut up. You are playing this little nameless girl with a hat, who lost her timepieces which she needs as fuel for her spaceship. So it is your job to get them all back. So you collect stuff, which you use to collect more stuff. Collect green diamond bubbles. Collect tokens to unlock pointless stuff. Collect wool. Collect powers. Collect timepieces. Collect everything that isn't nailed to the fucking floor. The controls are precise. You always feel in control. And if you fail at something, it's never because the controls, but because you suck and fucked up. It is never a really hard game, so for the most part you can just enjoy the ride. Every level is a different experience and every chapter has its own theme. For example, in chapter 2 you become a famous movie star in a dispute between two bird movie producers. One of my favorites is the absolute batshit insane speedrun train level. It is complete and utter chaos. I am loving it. And also, fuck Queen Vanessa, she owes me a new pair of pants. So you're having a bad day. Your 7th wife just left you again, took half your money, the children and your soul, and you're a bit down. Play this game. Just jump around in those beautiful levels and collect whatever that is thingies, I don't know. It is a wonderful experience from finish to end. It always comes up with fresh ideas, the characters are memorable and quirky, the soundtrack is fittingly wonderful. This game got a 10 out of 10 on Steam, and deservedly so. If I had to say anything bad about it, it would be that it is fairly short with just 4 chapters, but DLC with another chapters on the horizon, so go buy this game. This game was funded by Kickstarter, and if I could travel back in time to support the Kickstarter, I would fucking do it. Absolute recommendation on my part. And the last one on my list is Battle Chasers Nightwar by THQ Nordic, which I'm still playing, but I think after 7 hours I can judge the game. This is the story of a relatively generic group of heroes who got shot down on some island and have to find out what the hell is going on there. It is not a very cliché-free story 7 hours in, and I do not feel involved in any way, but it strings the locations together, and that's good enough, I guess. Okay, in order to judge the game for yourself, ask yourself the following question. How much do you like the round-based fighting systems of the early Final Fantasy games? Because this is what you're going to do 80% of the time. It is a grindfest through and through. Enemies too tough? You need better loot? Well, I guess you have to kill another 50 mobs and visit the dungeon on a higher difficulty. I mean, comparing it with the early Final Fantasy games is a bit unfair. You don't hammer the attack button until everything falls down. It is a bit more involved as you have to manage conditions and keep your party healthy, even against regular mobs. I also could never rely on a standardized tactic as I could do in many of the JRPGs Battle Chasers is obviously influenced by. The main map is basically a bunch of noodly strings you can follow in order to reach your goal while fighting monsters and collecting the stuff next to the road. The only interesting parts are the dungeons in which you get semi-randomized rooms to explore with small events strewn in there. And that's all you need to know about the game, because the rest is mostly numbers going up to fight tougher enemies. The graphics are the one thing that are really good, and it reminds me a lot of THQ's wonderful Darksider franchise. But in general, this is a game you play for a weekend or two and have forgotten it after half a year. I will finish it because I am actually having fun with it, but I could not in my right mind recommend it to everyone. It does not do anything wrong, but it does not do anything special either. It is a really mediocre game. So that's it for this episode. I'll see you next time. And don't buy ClickBit. Or do if you work at Guantanamo Bay and want to torture someone to death. Bye. Wait, I just realized that I showed you one of the worst games, one of the best games, and a very mediocre game. So basically you could say,
absolute balance has been achieved.